Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering Practice Makes Progress. I am Kisara and we are learning the Bloomborough set. Currently, however, I am at a point where I'm like, okay, I need to at the very least start getting through my dailies. So as part of my practice, I need to just do my dailies to be able to have gold for the drafts that are coming, as well as gems and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do all that. So let's go ahead and switch into that. As you can see, I have white or blue spells that I have to do at all. Blue or black spells, which I've already been doing some of that because I've been playing with black spells in my last limited match. And then creature spells, which had plenty of in my red decks. So to try to clear some of this, we're going to use one of the pre-made decks that's provided by MTGA Arena. And since my mostly have blue spells, and then creature spells, I'm going to try to clear all three with a blue-green deck. Specifically this one, the Desert Oasis. To take a look at it, because I've never actually seen what's in this deck at the moment, so we're going to kind of look inside it. So it has two Rebel Belt Maverick. When it enters, surveil for 2. If I exile it and pay a mana, put a 1/1 counter on a target creature, I can activate this as a sorcery. Okay, surveil to look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard and rest in any order. We have Jadelight Spelunker. It explores X times, X being whatever the mana cost is for that one. I suppose so. It's X mana plus 1 green. Failed forwarding. Return a target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you control a desert, surveil for 1. River Herald Scout. When it enters, it explores. Explore means to reveal the top card of your library. Put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. Okay. The Bristly Bill Spine Sower. It's kind of a terrifying artwork for me. Landfall, which is this ability triggers when a land enters the battlefield under your control. So when I drop a land, whenever your land controls enters, put a 1/1 counter on a target creature. If I pay 5 mana, double the number of 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I missed one. I have 2 Hard Bristle Bandits. Plant Rogue. Add 1 of mana of any color if I tap this. Whenever you commit a crime specifically for this card is targeting opponents, anything they control, and or cards in their graveyard to say crime. Okay. It untap it. So if I were to target anything on the opposite side of the play table, then this will untap. As you can tell, this is the Thunder Junction. I did not play any of the Thunder Junction because I didn't find the set very interesting for me personally. And there were like 6 sets that came out, so I was like, eh. So it was one of those I didn't come out and play. So the crime is a new mechanic that I don't know about. But we're gonna try it and see what happens. If we have Root Rider Fawn, we can play it as a creature. If I tap it, add a mana. If I play 1 mana and tap it, add in any color. Waterwind Scout. Flying, obviously. When it enters, create a map token. A map token allows me to sacrifice, tap, target creature you control explores. And to explore is the look at the card in my library, put a 1/1 counter. If it's not a land, if it's a land, put it in my hand. Huatli's Final Strike. Target creature you control get 1/0 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. Okay. Let's see. Outcaster Greenblade. When it enters, search your library for basic land or desert card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. It gets +1/1 for each desert you control. River Herald, when it enters, it explores. Sentinel of the Nameless City, when it enters or attacks, create a map token. And then I can explore if I sacrifice and tap my mana. Or pay a mana and tap it and sacrifice. Okay. Let's see. Sentinels. Case of the Locked House. You may play. This is a case. So, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. To solve it, you control. If to solve, you control 7 or more lands. If unsolved, solve at the beginning of your next end step. Okay. So, in order to complete this case, I have to own or control. So I have to control 7 or more lands. So if I don't, I will just solve at the beginning of your end step. Just jump to it, I guess. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast creatures and enchantment spells from the top of your library. Okay, so I will solve either when this happens, when I have 7 or more lands, or at the beginning of your end step. I wonder if this plays kind of like the sagas, so that they just happen in order regardless, kind of thing, or if I can play additional lands a turn in order to solve this. I get to 7 lands, which is kind of what it sounds like more like, and then once I get to 7 or more lands, then it's solved. Map the frontier. Search for up to 2 basic lands or debit cards. Put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Pathfinding Axejaw. It explores. Colossal Ratworm has Flash, which is you may cast a spell with Flash at any time, as long as you control a desert. So I can cast this creature at any time, as long as I control a desert. At the beginning of your Deep Fathom Echo. At the beginning of your combat on the turn, Deep Fathom Echo explores. Then you may have it become a copy of another creature you control until end of turn. So explore first, then copy. Beaststalk Worm. It has reach itself, and then as a sorcery, you may play an additional land this turn. Let's see. Ooh, I don't like this card at all. Cactarantula. This spell costs 1 less if you control a desert. It has reach. When it becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, draw a card. I don't like that card at all. Here is my legendary creature. When Bonnie Paul Clearcutter enters, create a bow, a legendary blue ox token with this creature's power and toughness are equal to the amount of lands you control. Whenever you attack or draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand or a graveyard onto the battlefield. So attack, draw a card, put a land. This one costs me 3 any mana, 1 green and 2 blue, so total of 6. And then I have Hedge Maze, which is a forest land. It enters tapped, and I surveil for 1. And then Lush Oasis is a desert. I have 4 deserts, sorry. I have 1 Hedge Maze and 4 deserts. It's a land. It enters tapped, deals 1 damage to target opponent when it comes onto the field. Okay, so that is what cards is in the Desert Oasis starter deck from Thunder Junction. So we're going to try getting some of my dailies cleared for this one. So let's go ahead and play. We're going to find a match.
Doing some exploring?
We're going to do standard play.
This one is called Standard because it's the most common way to play. It only uses cards from the last couple of years to keep things fresh.
I wish that Sparky would stop. I could like turn off Sparky. Always. I get it, Sparky. I'm novice, but I'm not that novice. Also, I come in here like every few days. Okay, so we're going to use this. We're going to go standard play, which is to play against people because bots don't count. So, yeah, let's do this. Okay, so first and foremost, I have a hedge maze and I have one forest. So I at least have 2 cards to start with. I have my failed fording. If I control a desert, I have bristly spine, which I actually think I'm going to keep. This one, bristle bandit, um, and a root rider fawn and map the frontliner. Okay, I'm gonna keep this 7. I have 2 lands and then a bunch of creatures. So what I learned from one of the things I did, mistakes I made last time, was to keep a hand I had with. I'm gonna keep the hedge maze first. I'm gonna surveil. Alright. I'm gonna keep my land at the top for a moment. In this case, I think I want to keep it just because I want to make sure I do have some mana that I can pull for this deck, since I have a lot of creatures that I can play. But in my last video, I did a thing where I surveilled and I kept, because I had plenty of lands, but I didn't have any creatures. I had a bunch of spells, and I didn't mulligan the hand. So I'm trying not to make that same mistake. So I have 2 lands. I think I can get more. And so you can see with that surveil that I just did. See, I have some lands here. I'm going to start with bristly spine. I'm going to have that there right off the bat, and then the goal is to keep letting lands. It only costs 2, so that's pretty handy to raise them up. Exile a target creature. Of course it does. Of course it does. You gain 2 life. Let's see. Exile target creature until it leaves the battlefield. So I would need to get rid of this enchantment. I don't know if I can, but I should. Okay, so I'm going to put... Is this called? There's one thing I have to make sure I remember. And then I'll do this. And I'm going to put it on this creature. And then I'm going to bring out the Shades Lunker. Oh, no, I'm not. I want to cancel that. And then I'm going to do that. And I'm going to end my turn. So I got rid... I sent back the makeshift binding, which means that he can either do this again and take my creature, which yeah, he's gonna do. Which I'm actually kind of okay with to some extent. It's giving him life and such to me, but I'd rather him use up all that stuff than not. Okay, so I'm gonna play. I don't have another land to do. Let's see. I'll play Hard Bristle Bandit. Okay, I can't pass this one because I only have the 2. That's fine. I'm going to play Hard Bristle Bandit, which is I'm going to commit a crime at some point. I'm not okay with like losing that creature, but having him waste like a turn to do it, I'll also do that sometime. Let's see, Vampire Cleric. If they tap and sacrifice a creature or artifact, each opponent loses life and they gain. Okay. Do Map of the Frontier. I'm trying to see if I can get my desert out. I forgot that I clicked the other one. Alright, so apparently I committed a crime. I will untap him. Whenever you commit a crime, untap Hard Bristle Bandit. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of am not entirely sure what just happened. Oh wait, what am I doing? I have everything. I have nothing to press. So I'm gonna no attack this one. End my turn here. I know I committed a crime, but I thought it said that I would untap it. But what did I actually untap? All right, so now I have all this land. Oh wait, okay. I'm sorry. That was from my Lush Dancer in the Oasis, which I made the mistake of not unclicking that one forest and not just having 2 Lush Oases. That was a silly mistake. I really shouldn't have done that. This is gonna suck. I'm gonna play my. I played Beanstalk Worm. I'm playing Root Rider Fawn. I'm gonna attack because I just need to. Yeah, I thought that the student. I probably shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. They're gonna take my Beanstalk Worm. Yep, with their makeshift binding, they sure did. Yes, they did. I will say this: I kind of wish I had more removal spells because that enchantment is like the worst. Like when Drake used to fight me with his car, that vehicle, that was absolutely wretched. Yeah, the Starlit Soothsayer is absolutely terrible. Alright, explore means to... Explore means to reveal the top card X times, which is X amount that I pay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can explore 7 times. I can do 5. Dragon card, but I have a card. Okay, so I have all the creatures and a 6/6, and if I'm very fortunate, they won't have a makeshift binding. They won't have a third one. Okay, how to get out of this? So I have Jade Light Spelunker with 5 counters on it. I had had so many lands, so all of them were tapped. And of course, they took my only creature with reach. They brought Zoroline, the Cosmos Caller, which means they can just hit me for 5 right off the bat. And with each bat they can grow life. You can always let my creatures go. Just get rid of your makeshift binding. Don't you want to sacrifice it? It's an enchantment, so it's not really something they can sacrifice with Acolyte of Apollon. Which is really handy, but I don't have enough. I am fairly certain they just drew that card too. Are they harder to card? Am I Seto Kaiba in this scenario? I gotta be Seto Kaiba in this scenario. That's it. That's the only explanation I've got for this. I don't have enough harder to cards. Yeah, I can cast this now. It's got reach. It's not gonna help me for the next set of attacks. The worst part about it is I can't even bluff my way into anything because it's like I have no cards in my hand. So anything I do, this is like a force stall. Because regardless, I'm only going to be able to take out one creature. Either one of these creatures is going to be able to take me out. As long as... You know, if we had 4 and yeah, it's nightmare. If I wanted to live one more round, but I'd have to really like trust my welcome to draw kind of thing, which is my next Virtual Herald guy. Baron Bertram Gaywater. Okay. And of course, Zorlin the Cosmos gains 1 life every time he attacks. Oh. That's what I got. Not 1 hit. Alright, well let's see what any of my dailies I was able to get. Alright, so I was able to get at least 1 daily. I got my cast 20 creature spells. That's the ultimate one I did want to get because that's the easiest one to get. No reason not to get that when you have it. And being said, I have blue or black spells. I have blue-white spells here. This is going to take me some time, so I think I'm going to switch decks. I want to switch to a blue-black deck and see if I can probably get 7 more here out of this one and see if that works. So I'm going to switch this one up too. Fairy. Oh, wait. Before I do any of this, I want to see what fairy it is. So I'm going to switch it up to the Fairy Pranks deck. So this one. Oh, wait. No. Go back. I don't want to edit it. I just want to see what's inside. How did I do that last time? Oh, wait. Maybe I did it this way. There we go. Okay, well, I didn't want to edit it, but here we go. We have, let's see, Fairy Wizard, Flying and Ward 2. Sleep Curse Fairy enters tapped with 3 stun counters on it. A stun counter is if a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Interesting. So if this becomes if it's tapped, it would become untapped. Remove a counter. Okay, I think I understand. I have to see it. Sleight of hand. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put them in your hand. 1 in your hand and 1 in the bottom. Snare Master Sprite. I have. When it enters, you may pay 2 mana. When you do, tap a target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. 3 steps ahead. It's an instant. Spree. Spree is choose 1 or more additional costs. So if I play 1 mana plus 1 and 2 I can counter, plus 3 I can create a creature token that's a copy of a target artifact that you control, or plus 2 draw 2 cards and discard. Fairy Dream Thief, when it enters, surveil for 1, exile it from your graveyard, draw a card, lose 1 life. Deduce, draw a card and investigate. Investigate means to create a colorless clue token with the token with pay 2 mana, sacrifice, draw a card. Freeze in place, sorcery, tap a target creature an opponent controls and put 3 stun counters on it, scry. This is going to go really interestingly for me because this is a lot of card manipulation that even I am very much outside my comfort zone with this kind of thing. But like I said before, I'm just a big fan of I just gotta get it done. If I don't use them, I'll never know. Let's see, Picklock Prankster. The instant is mill 4 cards, then place and put an instant, sorcery, or fairy card from among your mill cards into your hand. If you cast this as an adventure, exile it. You may then cast it as a creature from exile. Okay, so if I free to Fae instant, that's what happens. Or I can play this as Flying Vigilance. Spell Stutter, counter a spell unless counter the spell unless the controller pays 2 plus an additional 1 for each fairy I control. Oh, that's pretty powerful. That's a lot of they'd have to waste a whole lot to counter that. Borrow Naughty, flying. It has a life link as long as you control another fairy, of which I have lots of fairies. Drag the Canal is create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. If a creature died this turn, you gain 2 life and surveil for 2, then investigate. Okay. Obra, the Dreaming Duelist. Flash, I can cast this at any time like I would an instant. And when another fairy you control enters, each opponent loses life. Mocking Sprite, it's flying. An instant and sorcery spell costs 1 less to cast, which I would like this early on. I have 3 of those. Quick Study, draw 2 cards. Talion's Messenger, flying. Whenever you attack with 1 or more fairies, draw a card, then discard a card. When you discard a card this way, put a 1/1 countered on a target fairy you control. Let's scroll down, and then we have Spell Scorn Coven. Take it back. Adventure. Instant. Return a target spell to its owner's hand. Or I can cast it as flying. When Spellcorn enters, each opponent discards a card. Talion the Kindly Lord, my legendary fairy noble. As Talion the Kindly Lord enters, choose a number between 1 and 10. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with a mana value, power, or toughness equal to the number you've chosen, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. Okay, this feels... I'm gonna take a small screenshot because this feels like Drake's card. Hey, you guys hear me talk about Drake all the time. He's got a Twitch channel that he plays a bunch of stuff, but he's a Magic player. And like basically he's the one that is always like beating me and challenging me to get better. So this feels like his kind of card. So I'm gonna just send him a quick text and be like, this, please don't hit me with this card. He also enjoys gambling. This feels like a gambly kind of card. And then we have Roaming Throne, Artifact Golem, Ward 2. As Roaming Throne enters, choose a creature type, like fairy. Roaming Throne is the chosen type in addition to its other types, which is a golem. If a triggered ability of another creature you control if a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. Fairy Slumber Party, sorcery, return all creatures to their owner's hands. For each opponent who controls the creature to return this way, you create 2 blue 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with this creature can block only creatures with flying. Fairy Fencing, X mana. Target creature gets minus XX until end of turn. That creature gets an additional minus 3/3 until end of turn. If you control the fairy, you cast the spell. This would be good against anything that's got like a power of like 3 or more. And then Island Swamp, Soured Springs enters tapped. It deals 1 damage. It's a desert that deals 1 damage to its target opponent. And then Utter City Sewers, it surveils for 1. Okay, so that's what I am working with. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do standard play. I want to fight somebody. And we're going to see if we can get some blue-black spells. Let me double check, make sure that's what it is. Because sometimes I'll do my dailies and not really read them correctly. And it's like, do creature spells. I'm like, oh no. So we have 20 blue-black spells. Okay, so... Fairy Pranks. Standard play. Okay, so first and foremost, we have 1 island, 1 swamp. We have a Sleep Cursed Fairy, which allows me flying and ward. It only costs 1, so I can cast it right away. It enters with 3 stun counters on it. If it becomes untapped, so basically if I attack with it, and then it gets tapped, and then it untaps, I remove a counter. Okay. I have the legendary Fairy Warrior right off the bat. So, I'm actually going to start with this. I'm going to start with Sleep Curse, then I'm going to start with Obra. Then I have the Prankster, and then I have draw 2 cards. So I'm going to keep this hand here. I believe that 2 mana plus all these creatures, I think this is good. So I'm going to start with my island. And then I'm going to cast Sleep Curse. Just on the thing. I know I can't do anything with it, but it's nice to just kind of be there for me needing it. Discard unless they discard a non-mainland. Well, that kind of sucks. I'm going to... Reduce and... Yeah. Did I not do enough? Oh, okay. I was like, I know I can submit that. Okay. So... confused. It said deal 2 damage, right? Why did it get rid of my other cards? I'm actually legitimately. It said to discard. Hold on. Each opponent discards 2 cards. I had 2 cards to discard. Why wouldn't it let me submit it? I don't understand. Oh. Unless they discard a non-land card. Okay, that sucks. And now I'm in a really screwed spot. Okay, my apologies. There's sometimes when morale is just too much. It was really like very rare for me to actually concede a match like that. But my brain is so like aghasted at itself right now that if I try to relay right now, it's not gonna happen. So I'd rather be like, I concede defeat. This was a horrid start, and I wish I could take it back, but I can't. Let's just start fresh, knowing full well that it's not that I couldn't recover, but my brain is not where it needed to be. And for a game where, what's it called? You need to have your mind intact to be able to continue forward. If you're going into something competitive, and this is not even like super competitive, but if you're going into it with the feeling of I'm super flustered and I'm super flabbergasted and I can't think straight, any subsequent mistake, which will inevitably happen because of that, becomes compounded. So that's, unless this is like unless I was in a like limited thing or like like one of these things here, quick draft or something like that, where I have to move forward and whatnot, if I'm going for my dailies, my very rare occasion when I feel like I need to just concede for that scenario is when I am much more flustered than I can recover within 2 turns. And like I said, it's pretty rare for me to do that or to get to that point, but to misread that badly was a mistake bad enough for me where I was like, yo, that's no good. I gotta reset. There's nothing. So, and even sometimes in drafts, as terrible as this sound, I'm sure maybe some might disagree. Like, you just have to power forward and just go until you win. I think if you make a mistake so egregious that it's going to take you more than 2 turns for your brain to stop compounding itself, at least from an intermediate standpoint, then I think it's also good to be like, I need to step back. I'm going to take 1 loss and go from there. Athletes do it to some extent. Musicians like myself, sometimes we have to do it. We can sometimes be so competitive against, like, how to say that, one mistake really does rile it up. If anyone's seen Your Lie in April, the anime, that is like excuse me, that's like a pretty decent portrayal of what it's like when like a mistake compounds on itself inside a competitive nature. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So since nothing big is on the line, minus like maybe a little bit of a hurt pride in this video, I'd rather start my next match fresh and get 5 more blue-black spells, but to do it right and do it with actual comprehension that I find that I am sometimes lacking, despite having gone through reading comprehension for dummies for all of our elementary. All right. So I have 2 mocking sprites, which are great, I have to get 3 mana to get them, though. I have Fairy Dream Thief, which is not bad. I like that. And Fairy Creature. I won't be able to cast them right off the bat, however, but I do have Quick Study. I think... I have creatures that's going to cost me 3. I have 2 islands. I have creatures, but 2 islands, and I won't be able to cast anything unless I happen to get a swamp, which has a higher percentage early enough on in the game. So I think I'm going to keep my 7. I'm going to keep my hand this time. Hi, Bjorn. Hi. Alright, they're going to hit me with the hand, which is Bless Oasis. Oh, you know what'd be really, really great right now? That makeshift removal thing would be wonderful. Alright, I guess it's countered on it. It's fine. I'm okay with it. I need to make sure that my hand doesn't get too big either. Hi, Bjorn. So they're hitting me with the deck that I did before. So this was the deck I had prior to. This will become a really powerful card unless I can get rid of it. Okay, so there's my swamp. So now I'm going to cast Fairy Dream Thief. And I have... Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. What's the ability here? Let's see, I can't cast anything else. So here, if I were to pay 2 mana, I can untap it. So let's activate that. Okay? Because then it gets rid of my thing and I can get my ward soon. Burn that token, sacrifice it. They're gonna have Vigilance. The River Herald guy. Let's see, Barnani has life and as long as you control another fairy. So I can use Fairy Dream Thief, but not really a good idea per se at the moment until that like taps out. Hopefully they don't. So this is gonna untap my next turn. This is gonna get really powerful real fast. It's very upsetting. I wonder if my spell stutter could block that. I should keep a mana until I find out. I love, by the way, whenever I always start a game, I'm like, okay, I have 2 of this and I have a bunch of creatures. Statistically speaking, I should get lands like within 3 or 4 turns. And then I don't get a land at all. Okay, they have Colossal Worm. Do I want to get hit for 5? I do. Okay. Yeah, see, what would be really nice is like a little spell that I could get rid of it with. Like that one that hit me in the very beginning. How lovely was that? Yeah, I wanted to use Map of the Frontier with that creature too. You know what I didn't get the chance to do? Bristly Bill did not get to use the Map of the Frontier because it was taken off my battlefield. Okay. So we have roaming. I have freeze in place. Tap a target creature. Put 3 stun counters and scry for 2. For now, I'm gonna put on this creature. It's gonna stink. Done. Then I'm gonna cast this, and I'm going to put Borrow Naughty. And then I'm going to attack for nothing, because if I attack, I will have nothing to block. Please tell me I spent please tell me I spent 5 spells. That's all I really want in this match. Because I want to have 5 spells taken out. I just wanted 5 spells. Yeah, I'm blocking. I'm not. Okay, give myself a breathing room. I'm gonna do quick study because I need to have some spells. I'm going to cast Investigate. I'm going to put that. Then I'm going to put this. And then I'm going to no attack. I put Snare Master Sprite out. I couldn't pay 2. I really wanted to, but I ultimately still wanted to make sure I got like my spells in. More than anything, I did want to see what my spells did, and more than anything, I did want to make sure I cast them because I need that for my everything. Blue is by far my weakest color. It's one of my favorites, but it's one of my weakest colors. I am much better at playing. I am far superior to playing. What's the word I'm looking for? I am far superior to playing red than I am the blue. Did I? Skip. I did not have fun in the match, but that's mostly because I lost. It's a weird thing to ask someone that got defeated. Like, that's not really a question I really feel like answering. I don't like losing. But I did get a reward of my Intrepid Rabbit artwork, and I got a Bloomborough pack, and I got one of those. Plus, I did actually cast blue-black spells. Alright, so I am going to claim that. So now I have at least 2 dailies that will, at the whatever the turnaround time is, I have 2 new ones, and it didn't. I'll be able to continue with this one. I don't have it in me to try to cast a bunch more blue spells because it took everything I had to just make sure I cast this one. However, what I will do is open the new Bloomborough pack that I just got. War Squeak, still by far my favorite card to listen to. And yes, I do mean listen to. Let's see, Builders first. I got the class. Builders first. Builder's Talent. When a Builder's Talent enters, create a 0/4 white token with Defender. If I upgrade it, whenever one or more non-creature, non-land permanent you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on a target creature you control. And then level 3, when this class becomes level 3, return target non-creature, non-land permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield. I like that. Rabbit Druid. Whenever you attack, target creature you control gets 1/0 until end of turn. If it's a token, it gains Death Touch. And then Might of the Meek. Instant, target creature gains trample until end of turn. It also gets 1/0 until end of turn if you control a mouse. And draw a card. And then my first one is Doorport Mage. Doorport Mage. Whenever one or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, draw a card. Pay a mana and tap. Return another target's creature you control to its owner's hand. Okay. So that is the, yeah, that's me getting my dailies. So thank you all for joining, and hopefully I'll do better with my blues. At the very least, I am getting more outside my comfort zone in these things. I don't, doing things I don't really try before, forcing myself to do things that I'm not comfortable with, all that stuff. So I can move my Mastery Pass forward and get, the perks that come with it, as well as get my dailies so I can actually participate in things like Quick Draft and all that stuff. So Bloomborough is a nice set that I feel good and confident, albeit not necessarily confident in my gameplay, but confident that I'm going to enjoy learning to improve my gameplay in this particular set. So that makes me happy more than anything, because I like the game, and I like improving the game. I just like improving the game when I enjoy the cards. I like feeling good about the cards I'm holding. I tell sometimes someone that's like, I don't really feel this card. I'm not really like super touchy-feely. I'm very, very logical, but sometimes there's just cards that just feel good. Yeah, that's how I tend to pick and make my decks. It feels good. I like it. I like the artwork. The card's, mechanics makes me feel fuzzy. Something. There's just something. And this is one of those few games where I'm just like, I got a feeling about this card. This will be my card. So I like seeing what I can create and do and to find and discover in this set. So that's what makes me happy, even if I do step outside my comfort zone and I get defeated more often than I win. So I'm okay with all of that. Anywho, thank you all very much for checking out my Magic the Gathering practice makes progress. And I look forward to doing this again soon. Maybe daily. We'll see. As always, stay safe.